NFHA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Up to 18 miles per hour from the southwest.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
The best in local sports talk. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
What are we watching? 3 football games tonight, 16 games over the next 4 days, and there's storylines that are meaningful. There's storylines that are impactful. We're going to give you reasons why when you have that preseason football on in the background this weekend, what do you want to pay attention to? What it do? Happy back to school day, everyone. Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. Big day for a lot of kids getting back at it. It's going to be great. Don't you worry. Rock it, knock it out, and we got you covered this morning. On your drive to school, on your way to work, you're chilling, whatever you're doing, you know the OD is here for you. And what are we going to be watching? Well, tonight there's some really interesting storylines in the 3 preseason games, and then all weekend long from quarterbacks trying to make their mark, waiting on contract extensions, and who's going to fill out the rosters because somehow, some way, the dude that you have no idea is the backup quarterback on your team could play a role for your squad this season. JJ Buckstage Johnson holding it down for you this morning. Adrian on Pro View Networks. You can watch the show, stream it on multiple platforms, live after the fact. Same way with the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, you can tune in to the opening drive and consume each hour of the show daily. Coming up at 9 o'clock, Sean Ryder, Albuquerque Journal, going to drop in studio. We're going to chop it up, talk some football. Lobos will have a scrimmage this afternoon. So, again, what are we watching for? Decisions to be made, opportunities to put yourself in different areas on the depth chart, climb that depth chart, answer some questions. And what are the biggest questions 2 weeks into camp for Lobo football? I know I have my thoughts on what I've seen, but, of course, Sean Ryder has been out there as well, the beat reporter for the Albuquerque Journal. When it comes to Lobo football, going to break that down. We'll have a conversation with the Lobo defensive coordinator, Spence Nowinski, at 8 o'clock. And this is a dude that You ask one question, and he'll just keep on going. But he's an old-school mentality. The defense has shined at times in camp, and I'm really interested to see what happens in this scrimmage with the units, that an area that there's been questions with. We were waiting to see, all right, guys step up, make plays, really the defensive line in the front seven. And they have been making some plays. The linebackers, the defensive line in this scheme are catching the attention of the offense. And so we'll hear from Spence Nowinski at 8 o'clock. And, of course, you, as always, can get involved with the show, 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. But tonight, Indianapolis at Baltimore, Cincinnati at Philadelphia, Las Vegas at Seattle. It's one of 3 preseason games, but what does it mean? And you have to start in Indianapolis. It's now or never for Anthony Richardson to get the job, to get the experience, to play the snaps for the Indianapolis Colts. And Daniel Jones is right there. You know what you're getting with Daniel Jones. It's a veteran. It's experience. It's some solid throws with athleticism. And this is an offense. Sean Steichen came from Philadelphia. He wants to hit the deep ball, use the athleticism of the quarterback, leading the run game. And those things are there for the Colts when they have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. The open offensive line is healthy. But for Anthony Richardson, it is absolutely a big-time camp because you just want to see plays being made. Because who's going to be out there on the other side of the football field? Is it going to be second stringers? Is it going to be third stringers? So you absolutely want to see a good camp, not just camp, but preseason performance from Richardson. And Zay, when you look at Anthony Richardson of the quarterback competitions, and yes, we'll get to Shedeur Sanders. This one to me is one of the biggest because quarterbacks are always under pressure. Quarterbacks with their deals are always going to be feeling it. But Anthony Richardson is a guy that if he doesn't click right now, he's not one of those quarterbacks that I think just slides into a starting job somewhere else. He's going to continue to have to grind, be a QB2, wait for his next opportunity. So we got to see something right now from Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he's in one of those situations where it's like a double for him. So number one, like for the reason that you said, it's he's got to figure it out now because he doesn't just have a starting job guaranteed. But also you're looking at him and you go back, he's on the team that drafted him. So it's still fair to compare him to what, he was supposed to be coming out of the draft. And if you look at that, you then start to compare things. And it's like, all right, if Daniel Jones is here, it should be low-hanging fruit. So it's like for Anthony Richardson, if you're not able to beat out Daniel Jones, and not a disrespect to Daniel Jones because I do think we know what we're getting out of him, but it just wouldn't shock me if he was one of those guys that just happened to gradually get a little bit better at passing as his career went on. But if you're Anthony Richardson, if you don't win this starting job to Daniel Jones, it's not like you're a rookie. You've had some time to get the playbook under your belt. If you lose the starting job, it's one of those things where he better win it. Maybe he loses at the beginning of the season, but he better end this season as a starter for the Colts, or this next offseason could be real uncomfortable for him.
Yeah, he hasn't played a lot of football. Yes, he's still only 23 years old. But at some point in time, Anthony Richardson does have to show the Colts that, hey, you can trust me to get through this. You can give me this opportunity, and I'm going to find a way to play consistent football because it is the motto of what are you looking for? Well, it's deep shots downfield. Can you connect on those and be effective in the short yardage situations in the offense, leaning on Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line, and then, of course, using your strength. So not asking you necessarily to be Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, but Jalen Hurts in this situation because that's where Shane Steichen came from, was Philadelphia before taking over the Colts. So it is a huge one tonight for Anthony Richardson just to show progress, consistency, grasp of the offense. Another one will be Cincinnati. So they're taking on Philadelphia, but there might be a chance you see a little bit of Joe Burrow, you see a little bit of Jamar Chase because head coach Zach Taylor has talked to reporters this week, and he said he does expect to give the starters several series throughout the preseason. And is that going to be the difference? Because why would Cincinnati be doing that? We know about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown. If you're looking for a guy that people think is going to explode this season, it's a running back for the Bengals, but it's slow start. It's playing from behind And that is what has hurt Cincinnati the last couple seasons. Last year, they lost their first 3 games of the season. So they were 1-4 through 5 weeks. And yeah, they went on that tear late in the season, but they came up short. 2023, they were 1-3 over the first month of the season. Slow starts have doomed the Bengals, and it's a lot to overcome in that division. When you have the Baltimore Ravens, the way that Lamar Jackson has played in the regular season, and even with that offense, that when you're starting behind as Cincinnati has to try to come back and make that run, even with that extra wild card spot we see. And is this going to help, or is this just more when you look at getting these guys out there kind of just trying to send a message of, as a team, they have to be better early in the season?
Yeah, so this is one of those weird things where, I try not to let I won't say load management, how athletes are so scared to get hurt nowadays. I try not to let it skew the way I feel things should be going for the Bengals. But it's one of those things where you got the defense, and the defense, to me, has been the biggest issue. And it's a strong balance between, do you want to play the defense so they get as many reps and get as, comfortable as possible so that when the season starts, they, it's not the first time they're going against people other than their teammates when they're seeing an actual real football team. I forgot who they play week 1 in the regular season. Or really the offenses they go against in the first 5 games. That might be something I need to look into. But if you're the Bengals, it's like, all right, a lot of the issues with them was injury as well. So you don't want your defense to go out there and get hurt. Now it almost guarantees a slow defensive start. But you also want to get them some reps. So I feel like it really just depends on how they're looking so far in practice, or if their defensive coordinator feels like they're up to par or not. If he feels like they need to go and see another team, then that's what they need to go do.
Yeah, it's been the defense. When you look at Cincinnati and what they have the regular season, it's a huge opportunity for them to get off to a quick start. At Cleveland is the opener.
Okay.
They play Jacksonville, and then you're at Minnesota. And the Vikings overall, solid team, J.J. McCarthy. And also be a game that Jordan Addison isn't there. Jordan Addison, the Vikings wide receiver 2, suspended the first 3 games of the season. And then we get that big Monday Night Football matchup, September 29th, Cincinnati at Denver. So that's a favorable schedule, at least those first 2 games for Cincinnati. To get going, get after the Cleveland Browns, and get after Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen, first-year head coach of the Jaguars, go after the rookie quarterback, and then you have a big primetime matchup against 2 teams that believe that they're not just playoff teams, but Denver and Cincinnati saying, hey, we can go after
our good matchup.
Kansas City and Baltimore, the teams that have been winning this division. So as preseason football kicks off again tonight, 3 games, there are things to watch, and we will tell you what to watch for and what are the meaningful takeaways from preseason football. Coming up at 8 o'clock, Lobo defensive coordinator Spence Nowinski will join us. A really good conversation. This is a football dude through and through, but what is he trying to instill in this Lobo defense, and what will you see from this squad when they're on the football field this season? And for UNM, it gets going August 30th at Michigan, 5:30 p.m. kickoff, 4:30 pregame show for you. Yeah, already thinking about that pregame show over on News Radio KKOB, UNM Sports Radio Network. But also put on your calendar, Saturday, August 23rd, it is the 31st Sports Animal Birthday Bash at Ex Novo Brewing Company, Ex Novo Brewing, 701 Central Avenue, Northwest. It'll be from 12 to 4 p.m. We got limited edition T-shirts we're giving out for free. Of course, food and drink specials, all the Sports Animal personalities, and local C-Labs, sports stars, you name it. We're going to try to do what we can to pack it. And, of course, all of you, because we appreciate you. So I get to hang out every single day, talk sports, chop it up. It's because of the Sports Animal listeners. The 31st Sports Animal Birthday Bash coming up Saturday, August 23rd, 12 to 4 p.m. Ex Novo Brewing. You can hit up Sports Animal ABQ for more details. On the other side, what is the veteran seen from the rookie quarterback that is going to get the start? The most hyped 5th-round pick in a while. Has he shown good things for the veterans on this team? We'll hit that coming up next. It's opening drive here on the Sports Animal.
It's part sports.
We have football on the brain.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services.
Sportsbook.
So what does the franchise superstar think of the legend in his own mind? Oh, the 5th round draft pick, QB4, is getting a prime time opportunity in the preseason. And you want the moment. That's what everyone's looking for, is let me show you what I can do. Just give me the chance to show you I can do this. And for Shedeur Sanders, he has that chance, stepping up, starting tomorrow against Carolina for the Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco doesn't need the field in preseason. Got Dylan Gabriel, Hammy, Kenny Pickett, a hammy. Snoop Huntley is just a camp arm in there. So it is the Shedeur Sanders show. What does he need to show? And how are the veterans feeling about him? Specifically, the face of the franchise in Cleveland. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Channel. Jay Drew Bucks, A. Johnson with you this morning. So Myles Garrett, he was asked about his impressions of Sanders so far as he gets ready to step up as a team starting quarterback in their preseason opener against the Panthers. And Garrett said, cool, I mean, he's funny, he's optimistic, he's lighthearted, but he works hard. He takes it seriously, his craft, and he's watching what others are doing and doing it in his own way, in which only he can. So looking forward to see him on these preseason games and how he manages the offense. But I think he looks good, but all the guys look good right now. Now, for Shedeur Sanders, I'm taking that. And all right, this is the dude. Myles Garrett, the beast, one of the best players in the NFL, on the defensive side of football. Watching the rookie and seeing how he's playing. Saying, all right, man, look good right now in practice. Go out there and show what you got in the preseason. And you know that Myles Garrett, anyone else on this team, absolutely would love if Shedeur Sanders is that dude. They want to compete. And if Shedeur Sanders beats out Joe Flacco, gives you that higher ceiling, let's go. But when you hear Myles Garrett is talking about Shedeur Sanders, who hasn't had necessarily a lot of reps until this opportunity, what do you make of what Myles said about Shedeur?
I think this is a very, very – it's a great light on Shedeur because – I think those who have been in any position, doesn't have to be football, any position where, you have to climb your way up something when you believe you should be at the forefront of it, it can weigh on you mentally. If you're someone who's usually a bright person, that's when you're really, really tested. And I think we've seen Shedeur keep his emotions managed throughout this whole entire process, whether it even be back to Colorado, and all the pressure was on him at Colorado. I think he handled that really, really well. I think when you look at his draft day or draft days, when he's on camera the whole time and he's optimistic and he's smiling and he's saying he's grateful the whole time. And then you look at it now in the Cleveland Browns situation. I think he's somebody who, when you watch him train, him and Cam Ward were training with each other all off season. And a lot of times it was Shedeur. He's joking a lot. He's cracking jokes in the middle of his reps. He's talking trash in between. And there's some positions where that's cool, but usually quarterback positions where it's a little risky for quarterbacks like that because you're starting to wonder if he's taking it serious. But I think Shedeur is somebody who always has the ability to be optimistic, joke around, but also lock in at the same time. And when the captain of your team acknowledges that and throws on that but he works hard, that's a very big compliment because if you eliminate that but he works hard, this whole entire assessment of Shedeur looks completely different.
Yeah, and I think that's big because that was the thing is this, what are you getting with Shedeur Sanders? Yeah, we watched a guy that had to overcome a lot. It's not like Colorado had a great offensive line, but he made plays. You see, the foundation there, but it was, all right, is when he is out on his own, right? When it's not Deion Sanders' show, primetime isn't right there, what's he going to look like? And these stuff like for Myles Garrett and everyone else, so far so good. Yeah, he's got to slow down off the field. The team has addressed that. The general manager has talked about it. But now is his opportunity to show who he is as a football player, who he is as a leader. And head coach Kevin Stefanski added, my expectations for Shedeur are no different than the rest of the guys. We expect him to go out there and operate the offense, and we get in these preseason games. We try to keep it simple so guys can play fast, not think too much, and just play ball. And that feels like that should be something that would play into Shedeur Sanders' hands right now.
Yeah, keep it simple, and I think that's honestly, that works not only in his hand because he's a rookie and he needs to keep things kind of safe but impress so that he can run the offense. But that's also kind of how he plays. I wouldn't say he's not a dink and dunk type of guy, but he loves his check down routes. He loves throwing those running backs. He loves his short little passes. And then eventually he'll try to get a deep ball off. I think I'm very excited. I think it's smart to not want to complicate the offense too much, but also, sometimes when you're a player and you're like maybe it's Shedeur and you think you can do a whole bunch, and then you're in the offense I don't know what the Cleveland Browns offense really, really looks like. But I feel like there will be times where he might have to fight the urge to not try to roll out and extend the play and do too much with the football, because I'm sure he's being told just to get rid of it. So I'm interested to see that, when it's actually live in action, if things break down, is he going to keep things simple, or is he going to do we saw Caleb Williams kind of do? I don't know if he still does it, but I know for sure at the beginning he was trying to run around like he was
trying to do too much, man.
Yeah.
He's taking too many sacks, just not trusting his reads, not letting it go. And there's some of that, it's what's around you, what's in front of you. And when you look at Cleveland, it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle offensively. Now, they have veteran players on the outside, Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, tight end, and then Cedric Tillman. So some stuff there, but really it's the trust. And we talk about, how do these veteran guys stick around? And you're like, man, Joe Flacco is still there, or Russell Wilson getting another opportunity. Yeah, they've been there, done that. They're the veterans that these guys trust on a day-to-day basis, understand the offense. So you have to show the coaches, hey, you can trust me. Maybe there's some bumps in the road, but I'm good enough to get through that. And that's what all these rookies are trying to do. Shedeur Sanders has a huge opportunity in the preseason. Say, I deserve to be QB2. I can do what you ask of these other guys, plus bring a ceiling. And it's an ultimate lottery for Cleveland, because they are looking at 2 first-round picks next year. And they want to compete, and the coaches and everyone on that roster and team, they're going to do what they're going to need to do to compete, but they also understand, at least I'm sure upper management in the back of their mind, like, yeah, they have 2 first-round picks. Yeah. And they can be aggressive and going over the next guy. So how do you give yourself, whether you're Shedeur Sanders, whether you're Dylan Gabriel, that opportunity to say, hey, maybe I'm the guy?
Yeah, and that's it's kind of what I'm sitting here thinking, and this is when players earn this right to get that, that title by the coach. And that is when or if you do decide to go outside the game plan, it needs to be something that ends in a positive result. Like, take, for example, back when Steph and Clay were throwing up threes at the beginning, and all of a sudden Kerr started seeing them drop. So he's like, okay, I guess I can't be too upset about it. Things like that is how you get ahead, because Shedeur, if he goes out there and just runs the regular Cleveland Browns offense, right, and it just looks nice and smooth, to the most part, that's kind of what we've been seeing in camp, and it still landed him at QB4. So if you're Shedeur, you're thinking to yourself, like, yes, run the offense, but there's got to be something about me that I can do that they can't. And it's like, what is that? And I need to find out a way to showcase that. And what I think Shedeur can do, and Gabriel can do better than Flacco, is make something out of nothing. Get out of the pocket, let the ball go with accuracy. So you got to try and show the coach that, like, hey, this is something that you maybe haven't seen yet out of me, that now I can show you in real time. I want to look for one of those moments with Shedeur. If he just goes out and say he goes 8 for 9 or like 11 for 13 and it's dink and dunk, people are going to notice that. But if he goes out and he's got a couple of great passes outside the pocket with running the offense, that's what's really going to make a coach say, okay, maybe we need to rearrange his depth chart a little bit.
505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. Drip, drip, drip. Another one added. The Lobo men's basketball schedule. What game is it, and what are the expectations? Because basketball is right around the corner. I know it's football all day, every day, but we understand hoops matter. And for the Lobo men's basketball, what's a fair expectation? I was having some conversations with some folks about the team this year, and I think I've settled in on my expectations. It might not meet your expectations. What is that? Hit that next right here on The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots?
Holding it down on ProView Network. So it's a 13-game non-conference schedule for Lobo men's basketball. They got another one added yesterday, November 8th, in the pit against UT Arlington. Going to get whack with it. Now, UT Arlington finished 7th in the Western Athletic Conference last year, but they're a team that has plenty of turnover themselves because guess what? It's college athletics. 4 players who previously played at D1 programs, including guard Marcel McQuarrie, who started his career at Air Force, then playing at Northern Colorado. To add in the UT Arlington game, the home slate, they get your exhibition taste of Lobo basketball October 30th. They play Northern Arizona. And they got the regular season opener November 5th against East Texas A&M. You got this game November 8th against UT Arlington. You know, the MTE, they're playing in the Hall of Fame Classic in Kansas City, Missouri. So they'll play Nebraska on the first day, then either Kansas State or Mississippi State. You got Alabama State in the pit November 26th. December 10th, the return game in the home-and-home series at VCU. Good game. And, of course, at some point in the first month of the season, the battle against New Mexico State. And you've been course, hearing the promo, and we talked about it last week, Jeff and I, that seems to be a no-brainer now. With all these coaches talking about how challenging it is to get marquee home games. New Mexico State, that needs to be a home and home every single year. Play that game twice. It's a no-brainer. Do it, and then move on. But it's just one game this season. Hopefully we'll get back to that because it's harder and harder to build meaningful non-conference schedules and have a meaningful home game that's going to pop. Now, what does that all mean is I think you are going to want to see W's early. You're going to look at that schedule and say, all right, show me something. Now, the expectations for Louisville basketball, Rich Pitino came in, raised them back up to the NCAA tournament, raised them back up to a conference championship. So that could be the program expectations, but can that differ from year one for Eric Olin? And I know I've had people say, not at all. That's the standard. That's what you expect every single year. Understandable. But I think when you look at the 100% roster turnover, entire new coaching staff. Now, when I said the honeymoon period shrinks a little bit, this is Eric Olin's team. He got to pick all these dudes. He added every single one of these guys to his roster. It's not all coming in and, there's 5 returners and 4 of my guys, and we'll try to mix it and see what happens. Now, every single one of these dudes, Eric Olin and his staff, got to sign off on.
So basically, it's like, you would assume that whatever style of basketball he wants to play, they'll be able to go out and do something similar.
Absolutely.
I think that's like, honestly, as much as we hate seeing players come and go for all these teams, I think from a coach's perspective, you would rather have your whole entire team be something you picked. It's not too often that you accept a new coaching job and you have that ability. That's like almost the defense you give to a lot of coaches when they start out bad. It's like,
not their team.
Yeah, give him some time to get all his players in. So to his benefit, and I don't think it's not a bad thing at all, and it doesn't add pressure. I think it's all positive that not only he's got some young guys and some guys who've already played D1, but they're all his guys, and he's handpicked the team. So this will be very, very interesting to see.
Yeah. So enough beating around the bush for me there. I don't expect a conference champion this season for Louisville men's basketball. I don't. I think even with Eric Olin being able to pick all his guys, and when you look at that non-conference schedule, there shouldn't be a lot of speed bumps for them. But when you get to Mountain West play, don't know if they're at the level of San Diego State. I don't know if they're at the level, even Boise State, at this moment in time, the returners versus what they're bringing in. So what are my expectations? To not be playing on the first day when you get to Las Vegas. I'm looking at a top 5 finish. And a lot of people going, no way. But I do have a little hesitation to just immediately say, well, this is the expectations of the program, so this year's team should hit that.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. And also, without seeing them really gel and play together, it's kind of hard to have too high of expectations, and you don't want to put that pressure on them. But I think right now is very, very important for them. And once they do get into, actually doing full-on scrimmages, I think that's going to be very important. I don't know, when you have a whole team that's new like this, number one, you have to make sure everyone's ego is managed, and that everything falls in the right, place so that the team can figure out who their go-to is, figure out each other's roles. You don't want a team full of 12 new guys and everybody wants to be that guy. You do want it, but you also want people to have some humility and be humble as well.
Well, this is a roster that has veteran guys that I expect to play well in the non-conference, especially with the games we know so far. Like this, all right, it's a schedule with UT Arlington, East Texas A&M, Alabama State at home. There should be no doubts. There should be no doubts. When you do have the veteran players that can step in, Dayton Albury, the transfer from Utah State, Chris Howell coming over from UC San Diego. You look at, Javis Miller, transfer from North Dakota State. Luke Haupt, the D2 transfer, but these are experienced guys that have played a lot of basketball. We've talked about experience a lot in other conversations this week when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL, but now you have guys that can step in and they've produced. And then you mix in the international players, Thomas Bouljan. Then you look at Antonio Troll, an really big-time JUCO player, started his career at Division I level, hyped. So the pieces are there for this team to be able to really eat on this schedule early because it's not big. But that could change. We could see this team and go, oh man, these dudes that have played college basketball, these international players, Chol coming back to D1, like, yeah, that could change. But my initial reaction is not expecting a conference championship, but also expecting a team that's in the top 5 not playing on Wednesday.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. So not trying to compare any of these players to a Donovan Dent or a Jalen House, but over the past 2 years, I think it was clear who I don't want to say leader of the team was, but who the star of the team was, who the go-to guy was. This year, are you able to kind of maybe see who you think could pop out as that guy, or do you think it's still kind of jury's still out?
I think that guy everyone is anticipating to be Antonio Chol.
Okay.
It's just be the scorer and the go-to 3-level player. Now, when it comes to, as you mentioned, the wow factor, that's to be determined. I think people think Chol can be that guy. Hyper athletic, attacks the basket.
Is that the kid that was getting the viral dunks?
No,
dunks?
No, that is the freshman.
Okay.
Uriah Tnet from Arizona.
Let's see if we can turn some defense into offense and get him out there.
Absolutely. But, looking at the roster, that's why it's fascinating. And I know there's a program expectations versus, I think, year one expectations. I do think those are two different things right now. I know some people don't want to move that bar, and that's absolutely fine because you want to keep pushing towards that. But I think with the experience, at least just playing college basketball, amount of college basketball that's played by the guys that you're going to look at as the starters in the season, seeing how the non-conference schedule is shaping up, like there shouldn't be a lot of speed bumps in that non-conference schedule. You should actually be in a decent rhythm and have some confidence when you're going to play your MTE, when you get Nebraska and Kansas State and Mississippi State, however it works out on that second day. Like, all right, those are your challenges. So you should go in there with some confidence, and we'll see, all right, what kind of team is this when you get there? Of course, the VCU game on the road. So those are the moments where we're really going to see what this team can be in Mountain West play when we talk about competing with the top teams in the conference. But it's drip, drip, drip of the schedule. Another one came out yesterday. So it's UT Arlington in the Pit November 8th. And then you see, all right, start putting that non-conference path together where they do get a couple challenges. And then what would that mean once you get to Mountain West play for Lobo basketball? 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. So the veteran is on board. He's talking a good game. And will it be the conclusion that he's looking for? We'll hit that next. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough.
Well, so far, so good. On board. Yeah, whatever coach wants me to do. Let's go. A little different vibe than what we've seen over the last few years. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animals. JJ Bucksay Johnson with you. Adrian Holmes down on ProView Networks. Aaron Rodgers, 41-year-old quarterback. He was talking yesterday. He said, you know what? He's fine with making an appearance in Pittsburgh's preseason opener against Jacksonville if that's what the coach wants. Say, quote, I think Mike and I have at some point talked about this, and I don't think it's in the plan for me to play this week, but whatever Mike wants me to do, I'm fully on board. Now, Rodgers did make a preseason appearance in 2023 with the Jets, and that was the first time he played in the preseason since 2018. And he's saying the right things, being the good dude so far. But what is a satisfying ending for Aaron Rodgers? And he has openly talked about that, and he came back because he wanted to go out in a better way than he did with the Jets. And we all saw what happened. Monday Night Football was at 4 plays in Achilles. Comes back from that last year. Doesn't hit expectations at all. But now, at 41, going to the Steelers, who we know the expectations for the Steelers, right? It's 500 or 1 game above. Yeah. But they want to be better than that. And can Aaron Rodgers, is there enough left in the tank for Aaron Rodgers to be a little bit more than what we've seen Kenny Pickett be? Or even Mason Rudolph, right, in this offense. Just be a little bit more. Because, yeah, you once was an NFL MVP. He once was the best quarterback in the game. But what is a satisfying conclusion, do you think, for Rodgers, a realistic ending for him this year in the Steelers?
I think 10 games. If he squeaks off 10 wins, it's a successful season. Now, what does suck about this is I don't think Steelers have the ability to win a Super Bowl. And if they do win 10 games and they end up losing, you'll be able to make an argument that, if Rodgers was younger, if it was prime Rodgers, they'd have been able to go farther. And that'll always be kind of looming over him.
If I had prime Tom Brady, I'd win games too.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're Rodgers, but the thing about Brady, though, is
he did it.
Yeah, exactly. He pulled it off.
Probably not the greatest comparison on my end.
Well, yeah, he goes to the different, and he pulled it off, which was,
it would have to be winning a playoff game.
Yeah.
Because you'd looked at what the Steelers last year with Russell Wilson taking over for Justin Fields went 10-7 and made the playoffs.
That was a good season for us, in my opinion. That was a win.
And so with Rodgers, the expectation would be actually winning a playoff game. Even if you're a wild card team, it would be Aaron Rodgers winning a playoff game. That would, I think, show, all right, he came back, he proved something, he had just enough in the tank to get that satisfying ending. Because if not, it's, again, like I said, it's Russell Wilson, it's all these dudes. So a satisfying conclusion for Aaron Rodgers, of course, you want to go out on top, right? You want to be John Elway winning the Super Bowl, saying thank you so much, peace out. That was fantastic, right? Peyton Manning at the end. But I'm with you. I don't think it's a Super Bowl team. But if Aaron Rodgers wins a playoff game for the Steelers, not only does that get us going, okay, well, the dude had something there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Tippy cap to him. It gives Mike Tomlin another lifeline in Pittsburgh, because we know that organization doesn't want to move on from coaches despite the fan base just being done and enough.
Mm-hmm.
We want to go. Like, that would be one. I wonder if Steeler fan would be happy with that.
With a playoff win, yeah. I mean, ideally, of course, they want to win it all, but they got to be realistic. You know, if Aaron Rodgers goes out there and gets you a playoff win, it's a tip of the hat.
I wonder. Because if Aaron Rodgers is able to get this team to the playoffs, win a playoff game, which probably have to be on the road, because I think if they get it in the playoffs, I think they're going to be a wild card team. Mm-hmm. One, you go, okay, there's a foundation here. So maybe you do get excited and say, all right, we get that quarterback. Do they go veteran stopgap again? Do they try to go young? Whatever it may be. But I think gives it Mike Tomlin more runway. So I don't know how Steeler fans would feel about that. But as Rodgers has discussed, he wanted a better conclusion. And yes, we understand all these teams want to win a Super Bowl. We get it. But there's the in-between. And there's giving yourself an opportunity to go on a little bit of a run. And I think a satisfying conclusion for Aaron Rodgers would be winning a playoff game.
The Steelers just need to block. And to be honest, my whole thing is not, do I think he still got arm talent? I think he still got arm talent. It's his scrambling ability. I mean, you can even just see him when he's doing the rollout drills. It does look like it hurts a little bit. I don't think he's actually in pain. But you can see the age on him, of course, when he's rolling out and doing
41-year-old dude who's, now 2 years removed?
Mm-hmm.
From his Achilles tear?
Yeah, so I think that if they can block for him, I think it's the Steelers' best chance. If it's one of those seasons where the O-line is even the smallest bit of a question mark, they're not winning 10 games with Rodgers at quarterback, because he's not going to be able to get out of trouble enough. And if he gets hit at some point, you know how he is. He's going to start getting irritated, get angry. There's going to be fallouts because he's going to start cussing out his O-line, and then all the above is going to happen. They need to make sure they keep him protected, because he doesn't want to get hit. Steeler fans don't want to see him get hit. And I don't know if his body can take it.
Yeah. Got to protect all these quarterbacks, and also kind of chemistry can you have with DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf got paid. They invested in this dude. But I'm also looking, can DK Metcalf be a little bit more than just an over-the-top receiver? Can he find some more in his game? Because that's going to be huge, because DK got paid as an elite receiver. Got paid as a dude you want to feature at each level of the offense. So we've seen him. He's a physical freak, a specimen. But a lot of times it's the downfield routes. Can you get more out of DK Metcalf? And I'm really interested to see, too, that back shoulder throw.
Oh, yeah.
With Rodgers and DK, does that kind of unlock a new level in his game? Because we look at the Steelers, and DK Metcalf, went out on it too. We think about that defense, and DK said on the NFL Network a couple days ago that he thinks this Steelers defense is the best defense he's ever seen.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I think. Well, that's crazy. I think the DK is going to have a great year. He's going to have his best year, and the reason I think that is because who he's going against in practice. He's battling Jalen Ramsey every day in practice, and they're both trash talkers.
Got Joey Porter Jr., Darius Slay. So you got the mix of veterans. Ramsey, Slay.
Yeah, and they
young
are
guy in Porter,
and they're getting scrappy in practice. You know how Metcalf is, and I think not only will he have a better season because he's going against them, I think mentally he'll be a lot more level-headed because you can't be hot-headed and then go against Jalen Ramsey every day. There's going to be There's going to be fights in practice every single day because Ramsey pushes buttons and he gets under your skin. On top of that, he's good. Darius Slay's a little more humble about it, but that's two different types of corners, great corners, and they're probably better than most of the corners Metcalf will be going against on Sundays.
Well, what is a satisfying conclusion for Aaron Rodgers? And it would be a playoff win, and I think most likely that would actually be a playoff road win. Because I don't think the Steelers are winning the division. Now, I'm still on Baltimore. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson was special in the regular season, but you get to the playoffs, if Aaron Rodgers can get you a dub,
take out Mahomes. You take out Mahomes out the playoffs?
Ooh.
Yeah. Don't even play the second
Changes
game.
things.
Just retire. Just retire in the middle of the playoffs.
Talking defense on the other side, UNM defense, according to their Spence Nowinski, his journey to UNM, his style, his vibe, and what he expects to see from the Lobos defense this season. It's coming up next, the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Duke City. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Football! Talk about it all on the OD. Morning. I don't think it's breaking news when it comes to Arch Manning. We got to discuss the hype train that is Arch Manning at the University of Texas and expectations. We're talking about Lobo men's basketball expectations. Another game out of the schedule. You're starting to see what that non-conference looks like. The program gone in the NCAA tournament, competing for Mountain West championships. Does that change this season? But will football? Brand new coaching staff as well. Big roster turnover thanks to the transfer portal and the coaching change. But the coaching staff, Coach Eck, brought in his guys. Luke Schlichner, the offensive coordinator, been with them for a while. So that 3 years Idaho as the OC. Before that, South Dakota State. They've worked well together. And then it's going back and the connection that was built on the football field, connection that was built back at Wisconsin with Spence Nowinski, the defense coordinator who was at Memphis last year. Now he's setting the tone for the Lobo defense. I caught up with the DC. Joined by Lobo defensive coordinator Spence Nowinski. So you played at Minnesota State, you coached in Illinois, you coached in Wisconsin, Ohio. So what do you think of the high desert so far?
I love the high desert. Here's what it is. We talk the other night with the defense, and greatest thing ever, we have to talk about who we are, and we're desert built, and that's unique than anybody else. And what does that mean? Well, on Friday nights we're going to go out in the desert, we're going to dig holes. Saturday night we're going to go fill the holes. So that's our mindset. That we're going to use it. We're going to train on the sun. We're going to use the heat. We're going to use the cactuses, the rattlesnakes, the spiders, all that stuff. We're going to use that to our advantage. Other people don't have that. That's our power. That's a gritty outlook on who we are. And Midwest, South, whatever, Canada, doesn't matter. It's blue collar, gritty, hardworking people here, and that's what we're about. And that's our mentality, and that's how we work. Everything we get, we have to work for. So I love it here. I love the desert. It's cool. To me, it's just another group of gritty people. That's all I've ever been. So I love it.
Well, you're talking about digging holes, so if the players don't show up and practice the way you want them to practice, they're going to wind up in one of those holes?
You know what? No, that's a mindset. And you know what? It's not acceptable to loaf. It's not acceptable not to play. We're going to practice hard. We're going to play hard. Everything we get, we have to earn. There's no... there's nobody that makes $3 million NIL like the quarterback at Michigan, a 17-year-old kid. We don't have guys like that. We are truly the old school, lunch pail, got to bring it every day group. And we call ourselves the Mutts, okay? And the reason why is what makes us unique, what makes us special is not one person. It's all 11 guys doing their job. And that's how we have to perform. And nobody has a pedigree, nobody is, that beautiful Alaskan Malamute, Westminster Kennel Club. Everybody is a gnarled up, fighting son of a gun, loyal, family, selfless individual. And that's what we have to be. That's what we have to be. Because there's not, again, like how we play, we're a culmination of tough, smart dudes that love football. There is nobody that's a 5-star. There's nobody that's, multi, billion dollar. Jeff Bezos is my dad. Nobody has that silver spoon. We're going to go steal somebody's silver spoon. And and we're going to do it by knocking their teeth out of their mouth.
Co-defensive coordinator at Memphis last year. What was it about Coach Eck when he called with this opportunity? You're like, that's where I want to be.
You know what? I've known Coach Eck for almost 30 years. And we're like-minded. And what's kind of cool is we worked with each other, but then we played against each other many, many times. And what I love about Coach is he's very much like me. What you see is what you get. Genuine person. He's a coach's kid. Loyal. He's way smarter than me. He's an incredibly smart person, but he's still that gnarled, gritty, old lineman mentality, and that's what I love, and that's, I just surround myself with people that are my friends and people that I work with that are like-minded. And like I said, Coach and I have been friends for many years. We've gone against each other. I have the utmost respect for him. From a defensive standpoint, his offensive mindset and what he believes in. His old linemen, his players were always prepared and they executed. And again, it wasn't like he had, the best of the best, the personnel. He developed them, and he got them to play the right way, finish plays, play nasty, play with the proper fundamentals and techniques. So when I could work for Coach Eck, I took the opportunity to come here because I believe in him. I know what it's like to, and again, I'm getting older now, and the quality of life, the interaction, the relationship we have, even how we communicate, it's easy to communicate with him because there's so much familiarity, so that means a lot to me, and that goes a long way. So when Coach got this job here, I knew I wanted to be with him, and so I jumped at the chance.
Joined by Lobo defensive coordinator Spence Nowinski. But when you were coming up as a coach, who was it that helped mold you, and where did you get your style from?
You know what? I had a lot of really good mentors, and number one, I'll say my high school coach. I'm a football coach because of my high school coach and the impact he had on my life. My dad and mom are. My mom worked in a cheese factory, being from Wisconsin for 30 years. My dad drove a railroad train for 45 years. So much like a truck driver, my dad had a lot of shifts where he wasn't home. He was gone overnight, long trips. So my high school coach is very lucky. He was like a second dad to me. And he was somebody that had unbelievable passion, what he could do to push individuals to do unbelievable things, enthusiasm, zeal, always uplifted the group, unbelievable work ethic. I always wanted to be a coach because of him. And now, I always thought I was going to start out as a high school coach. I thought I would always be that high school coach, but then I had an opportunity, and it's funny how things all work. I had an opportunity to go into college, and that's where I met Coach Eck. So it's a really cool deal. And Coach Eck would tell you the same thing. Barry Alvarez was an ultimate mentor. Very much had unbelievable feel. Defensive-minded coach, but believed in the time-tested skills of what makes football great. You run the ball on offense, you stop the run on defense, and you play incredible special teams, and you win a lot of games with that mindset. And the way he treated people, the way he let his coaches coach, he was an incredible dude to work for. There was a gentleman that I worked for at Illinois State. His name's Brock Spack. He was a longtime defensive coordinator at Purdue for Joe Tiller. Again, defensive-minded, really a tough, how you prepare people, how you train people. He did very much by tanning leather. A lot of physicalities. Even the day I was telling the guys last night, just how times have changed between 2-a-days and single practices. And you go 4 days and the guys have a day off. So it's way different now, than it used to be. And we'd be in helmets. And I remember we do 9-on-7 for 20 minutes. I told guys, they don't believe it, but then Coach Palmer, our linebacker coach, played for me. And he goes, no, that's true. He goes, so there's a happy medium there, but I love that, how do you, if you don't have, say, superior talent to like You know, you're playing the Clemsons, you're playing the Ohio States, you're playing the Michigans of the world. You better be tougher than them. You better be ready to be fight the fight in the center of the ring. So we have to make sure that we train the right way, and it's got to be a physical sandblasting for us to have a chance against people like that. So that's what we're going to do. That's what I can promise. We're going to play hard. We're going to play violent, and we're going to do things the right way.
Defensive coordinator Spence Nowinski. I'll wrap it up with this for you. When you look at this team, and your guys are going to grow each and every week, where are you right now defensively, and where is it going to come from? Is it going to be the D-line linebackers to anchor you? Like, where are those guys that are going to set the tone defensively?
Like I said, we're the Mutts for a reason. It's going to take all 11 guys, and what you said, and this is I think this is probably the most important aspect, which people can't always say. Listen, we're not going to be a finished product week 1. We're not a finished product right now, day 3. We have to get better each day. We can't squander these practices. We can't squander, those first 4 games. We have to be on, towards full cylinders when we get into the league. And that's, like you said, you have to keep going. Like, even you look at, over time, why do people win bowl games when they get those bowl games? That's because they keep getting better each week. And that's what we have to do. And that's what we're going to do. You look at just the overall landscape of what college football is today. Well, the portal, NIL. You don't have those groups of 25 seniors anymore. You've got a guy from here, a guy from there. You know what I mean? So you got to bring yourself together collectively too. That's another. Your team building, your ownership, your belief in each other. Because really, the world is, first of all, it's a selfish world out there. But now, especially, that's the true kind of the extra craft. How do you bring those guys together now? How do you get everybody's ego buying into, like, hey, it's all of us. It's about us, and it takes all of us, not just one dude. Because, believe me, a lot of guys think it's them. You know what I mean? Right now, because of what we developed here. You know what I mean? So that's another growing aspect. As soon as we can, the sooner I say we can get that together, football will take care of itself too. But I like where we are right now. We're vastly better than we were in the spring. We're vastly better than we were during OTAs in the summertime. We just got to keep growing. And I like what we're at right now. We had several injuries in the springtime too. Guys that had surgeries and didn't go through spring ball. Well, those guys are practicing now, and it's different. You know what I mean? So it's really exciting. It's really very positive where we are. But we got a long way to go. We were not a finished product, and we got to keep on going.
Man, that's a coach that you hit record and you get out of the way. He's got some great stories to tell. Mindset. He's a fiery guy, and we've had this discussion this week about the traits of the really good coaches. How do they command a room? How do they command the players when they show up at practice, when they show up in the meeting room? Now, Spence Nowinski is more of that old school, really get them going with the verbiage, the words. Might drop some stuff that you can't say on the radio, but you hear it there, his background, the mentality, the grind, the old school defensive coordinator in him. And I think early in camp, it's paying off for the Lobos. You see the linebacker core, that front 7, making some plays against a solid offensive line. They do like the offensive line that they've been able to put together, but they've been making some plays. And that front 7's been an area that you've been looking for impact for a while. And I think you can get that now. The corners, we talked with Abraham Williams the other day and kind of chuckled when I asked him what it was like playing for Coach Nowinski, and he's a fiery guy. And he said, he definitely gets your attention. He gets the people going. But those corners need that front 7 to be impactful. And, all schemes are a little bit different. But creating some havoc, not just stopping the run, but putting some pressure on the opposing quarterback will go a long way for this Lobo defense, because it's just something we haven't seen them been able to do for a while. And we are talking about head coaches that were supposed to be defensive guys. Danny Gonzalez, Bronco Mendenhall last year, and they haven't been able to have their impactful moments defensively. And they're hoping this year, with the group they brought in, specifically in that front 7, tweaking where some of the guys are going to be playing, that they can generate the pass rush that you're looking for, create some turnovers, create some havoc defensively this season. What'd you think about listening to Coach Nowinski, Lobos defensive coordinator, Lobos scrimmage this afternoon, as they work towards their season opener August 30th at Michigan? 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. we come back. Everyone loves the what if, the fantasy football stuff. But they're saying some stuff on Instagram, Dave. And it's an Insta dream. I'll tell you what that is. Coming up next, the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all.
I do want to recognize one of our colleagues, one of our friends is going through, and Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. You announced on social media his significant other, Jennifer, diagnosed with breast cancer. And you can see the post he put. It's pinned on at Jeff Grammer on the X, but he set up a GoFundMe account. And Adrian, he's putting it up now on ProView Networks. Of course, the fan base has been reaching out, and people have texted me about it. Hey, can you guys get this on air? And I've talked with Jeff, this week. And we've shared his stuff on social media, but too wanted to throw our thoughts out there because he's given us so much time. And love talking with Jeff Grammer. He's become not just, a colleague that I've been able to bounce stuff off of, but, a friend in this business and someone that I can talk to. And it ain't easy, this grind that you're on when you're in sports and trying to make a living, whether it's calling games or talking about it. And it is an absolute grind. Jeff Grammer's been someone that I've leaned on, I've talked to, I've trusted with stuff when it comes to, the behind the scenes in the industry. And not just having fun conversations on the radio or on a podcast. So our thoughts are with you, and you see the the GoFundMe there on ProView Networks. If you're watching, of course, you can see the information to help Jeff, his family, 2 daughters, a significant other Jennifer, as they go through this battle that so many people have to face. But again, you're not alone in this, and this goes for everyone. And the community rallies. And you just see the response that his post got on social media, the multiple fan bases, not just Lobo fans, but he's heard from coaches around the conference. It's the impact that he has as a person, but it shows you can rally together. And we come together in one way, and that's usually around sports. And you go at each other. It's rivalries. It's going after fan base, this or that, but it is still something. There's very few things that can bring together thousands upon thousands of people. It's a concert, you're there for music, but a lot of times you're not discussing that concert after the fact. Like, I didn't start the show Tuesday morning and drop my Creed take from being at the show on Monday night, right? Like, it was great. Daughtry, Creed, fun night. Dad Rock, it was phenomenal. But sports is something different. It is, you do show up to the arena on a Monday night, 15,000 people watching the basketball game, and you flip on the mic Tuesday morning and we're talking about it. There is a different connection that sports does for communities, that sports do for people of all ages. And then you can see the positive. You can see how, all right, the common good that comes from it. Because I know at times I can get super frustrated with it. It's like, this is the conversation we're having. That's your reaction to this. That's your take on it. But ultimately, it's something that brings so many of us together that we'd never cross paths in our life. We have so many things going on day to day, but one common thing is sport. And through that, you can create some great connections.
Yeah, dude. Even number one, prayers out to Jeff and the family, of course. And you hit it right on the head with sports. And sometimes it's not even just people. I mean, it brings people that have nothing in common together. But then, also, like in my situation, it definitely, as close as me and my dad are, it was sports, through growing up, through the divorce and everything. It was always sports that kind of was like the numbing spot. And it was like, all right, we're just like, I just got home from school. He just got home from work. I could be stressed. He could be stressed on a way different level because I was like 12, so I didn't know what stress was. I thought I knew. But for him, I look back in hindsight and I'm like, man, he would wake up at 3 a.m., get home at like 5 p.m. And the only reason why he was able, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why I was always able to never be able to tell is because at that time, usually Kobe or LeBron was coming on around 6 p.m. in the Midwest. Around that time, usually one of them. Every night the NBA they would do their best to make sure one of those guys was playing every night. So that was always like the numbing spot. So sports, I think back just to imagine without it, like way, way back in time before sports was created. I just thank whoever it was that created it. What was the first sport? Do you know?
Oh, sure. There's been competitions going back for ages upon ages when it comes to people competing. But with that being said, what does it do? Is that you just laid out, it brings us together. And if you can support Jeff Grammer, if you can support Jennifer through her journey and the family, you can find the information on the X. Jeff Grammer has his tweet pinned, the story about it. There's a GoFundMe there. He has everyone Every family that's going through this needs support. And if you can, go help out Jeff Grammer and his family. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Zay Johnson, holding it down, Adrian on ProView Network. You can watch the show on a daily basis. Watch it back. If you missed it, you can stream it in multiple places. And if you missed the show, too, you can listen to the Opening Drive podcast. Each hour is up after the show is finished. So, Insta Dreams. We love the what ifs, the scenarios, breaking it down. Fantasy football. Oh, what if this player's traded here? What trade would you make? Well, there's some NFL players that are outright flirting on Instagram, Zay. So is it? Yep. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. So there was an Instagram post by someone that had a Micah Parsons in a Rams uniform. Right? Fans love to do this. It's like, oh, let's do a Photoshop. What would it look like? Well, this post, it got the attention of Aaron Donald. Now, Aaron Donald's retired. He's walked away, but he's a guy that you see him and you're like, he could still be playing if he wanted to.
Oh, yeah, and he trains like it.
The best defensive tackle in the game, who still is out training young guys. You can tell the story of the summer. Jared Verse, the next guy in line, who was outstanding last year in the defensive line, the rookie from Florida State.
And he just killed the Cowboys in their joint practice. Yeah.
But Jared Verse did a workout with Aaron Donald over the weekend, and the rookie NFL player going into his second year, who's kind of on path to be that next wave of top-tier defensive linemen in the league, couldn't keep up with Aaron Donald. Like, the warm-up, he's like, oh, that was a good workout. No, Aaron was like, no, that's a warm-up, bro. Like, we ain't started yet. Like, Aaron Donald is one of those different level dudes. But Aaron Donald noticed that post and said, responded to it on Instagram. If Parsons goes to the Rams, I might have to get in football shape. With that D-line, we would be unreal.
He also tagged Micah in that comment.
And then, of course, Micah Parsons said he's done. He doesn't want to be a Cowboy anymore. He requested a trade. Responded, don't tell me info like that. And Parsons also tagged his agent. Now, we heard Jerry Jones say he ain't trading Micah Parsons. He ain't going anywhere. But, the Rams, who have been about bleep them picks, got them a Super Bowl, slowed down a little bit. They've drafted and developed exceptionally well. That's why you look at that defensive line. It's not just Jared Verse, but it's Brandon Fisk. It's Kobe Turner. It's Byron Young. Like, that's a legit defensive line up there with the best in the league right now. Not just now, but over the next few seasons. And so if you're playing that what-if game, yeah, Micah Parsons would be a game changer. And if you're the Rams, you got to be thinking about what's next at quarterback. And that might be where a first-round pick or two is invested. But my goodness, that's so intriguing. Because if you think about, if you go young at the quarterback position in the next year or two, you're saving some salary. You're going to have to pay some of these guys. You're going to take your franchise players. But, Micah Parsons, Jared Verse, those young guys on defense. You can see why Aaron Donald would be like, yeah, I might come out and play a year with this.
It wouldn't shock me. He retired early. I mean, like, I wouldn't say early. He got a lot done fast. But as for trajectory of his career, he retired early. And if you want me to be very, very honest, out of all scenarios, that is one that might hurt the least. And I might be happy for Micah because I know how competitive he is. I know him and Aaron Donald would be insane. And, Micah deserves it. Micah deserves to get what he wants at this point. But by him tagging his agent, it's almost like it shows me that it's not too serious because obviously he wouldn't just have put it out in the forefront. I think him and his agent are teaming up together, and they're like, yeah, we're going to scare everybody. Until
they're just trying to get Jerry to budge. And as we've discussed, like, these are two guys that don't want to look like they're folding. Mm-hmm. That are saying, no, I'm going to call your bluff. No, I'm going to call your bluff. And so Parsons, he's showed up. He's been at camp. Now he hasn't been practicing, but he's wearing his jersey, right? He's talking with the coach. He's going through meetings. But you still have this standoff. And Jerry's like, no, man, we had a handshake agreement back in March. And word is bond. And these guys don't want to give a single inch right now. So Parsons is going to play this game, right? And have a back and forth with Aaron Donald on Instagram and put his agent in there. And this is what it's going to be until they're willing to have a conversation. That's Jerry Jones with Micah Parsons' representative. Is Jerry saying, hey, that contract that I offered you in March that we thought we were just two men hashing it out, feels like it's that or nothing right now from Jerry.
Yeah, and honestly, I get the holdout from Micah's agent side, but also at the same time, I think they need to realize who they are dealing with. And if they really want to get Jerry to budge, playing this standoffish game, making these comments on social media, it's not going to make Jerry budge. They got to figure out a way. Number one, they're going to have to be the ones to initiate. Jerry Jones is not going to initiate. I mean, this is the same guy. Didn't he let Emmitt Smith sit out some games?
He did.
Jerry Jones is not going to budge, and the only way this can happen is if they approach him in a way where they're not ruining their pride, but they also get him to acknowledge something. Because at this point, the agent, this could have happened. They could be sitting here like, you know what? Yeah, we wouldn't mind signing that first deal right now, but we've gone this far, so we can't just back down, you know? And the season's getting closer and closer.
Tick-tock, tick-tock. 3 preseason games tonight. Indianapolis at Baltimore, Cincinnati, Philadelphia. Las Vegas at Seattle. There's some interesting nuggets, too, in that Vegas and Seattle game, especially a rookie with Mountain West connections that's turning some heads for the Seahawks. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you. This morning we come back on the other side. So he won a championship in high school, thought his coaching career was going to be what is next, and now he's back being a backup quarterback. What happened? Well, it's just because he's a teddy bear. That's next here on the Sports Animal.
Heavy delays for drivers heading.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Baker Mayfield can back up what he did last season, the touchdown maker, over 40 touchdowns. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, it's going to be a great battle in the NFC South for that division. But Teddy Bridgewater, it looked like he was on the path to just sticking with coaching for a while. You go coach high school football and win a state championship, but he was suspended because, of course, that was providing benefits. Now, Teddy discussed it, and he got pretty emotional about it this week. He said, when I decided to coach, those players became my sons. And I just wanted to protect them in the best way I can. Miami Northwestern is a tough neighborhood, and sometimes things can happen when kids are walking home and things like that. So I wanted to protect them so they could take a ride home instead of going on those dangerous walks. I know this is one of those things where, we look at college athletics, and it used to be like, oh my gosh, you put cream cheese on their bagel, you're suspended 6 games. Now it's the wild, wild west. But I look at high school sports, and they still kind of have some of that old school model to them. And I understand like transfers and rich schools versus the poor schools and trying to get the athletes. But this one, when you listen to Teddy Bridgewater describe it, yeah, he has the ability to do things that others aren't able to do with being an NFL quarterback and having that money. But this is one you go, you know what, I'm with Teddy on it. And he was just talking about just helping his players after practice, getting home, providing some food. But yes, that ends up breaking the rules. That's why he was suspended and why he's back in the NFL. But Zay, when you look at that, I understand it's like, you broke the rules, but I hope to see Teddy Bridgewater coaching again soon, because this does sound like the dude you want, especially around high school athletes.
Yeah, I feel like, I think even deep down, the administration of the actual school, I don't believe they had too much of an issue with this. I think what it is you don't want other schools then complaining and causing a ruckus and then saying, oh, we don't do that, like we can't do that. I feel like that's the issue, especially also, they won the state championship, so all eyes are going to be on them. If they had, went 5-4, I think high school got like 9 games. If they won like 5-4, didn't make playoffs, you wouldn't have seen this be an issue, in my personal opinion.
That's usually the way it is. But, it is that benefits that you can't do. But Teddy Bridgewater, it's just a guy that you root for. And what he went through, the major knee injury, wondering, man, is this dude going to play football again? He comes back, has been grinding as a backup, and looked like he was on to his next career. So I hope, because you listen to Teddy Bridgewater speak about this, and I read the quote, but you watch him and what he's invested, that's a dude you want around high school athletes. That is a dude that you want, not just coaching, but mentoring that next generation. And it also shows you his character, but still his game. That Tampa Bay was immediately like, yep, come on.
Yeah, we'll take him.
Come practice with us right now. Let's go throw in the mix to be a backup quarterback.
People forget how good he actually was in college. I was a big Marcus Mariota guy. There was definitely a time when I'm thinking he's the best in college, and I keep seeing people talk about this Bridgewater guy. So every single week I'm wanting Mariota to do better so he can win the Heisman, and Bridgewater consistently, week after week after week, was dominating college. Then he dominated his pro day. He looked great in the offseason. Very unfortunate what happened to him with the injury. But you never know. A return of Teddy Bridgewater would not hurt the NFL at all.
Nope, he's back practicing with the Buccaneers. But definitely someone that you want to see coaching soon. And if he has this opportunity, though, to continue to be a part of a team that has playoff aspirations, again, aspirations to win the division. And we know that QB2 absolutely matters, whether it was 60 quarterbacks that ended up starting an NFL game last season. So you can see why Tampa Bay was quick to give Teddy Bridgewater a call to bring him in. But suspended for benefits after leading Northwestern High School to a championship back in 2024. But he's just a big old teddy bear, man. Just trying to do what's best for the kids. And now we'll see what he can do on the football field. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. Coming up at 9 o'clock, Sean Ryder, Albuquerque Journal, going to drop in. We're going to chop it up about Lobo football, college football, just football on the brain all day, every day. Camp is underway, preseason games tonight, and we will tell you what matters about these games. There are things that you need to watch for in these contests. But the Sports Animal, the Birthday Bash, it's back, baby. The 31st Sports Animal Birthday Bash is Saturday, August 23rd from 12 to 4 at Ex Novo Brewing Company, Ex Novo Brewing, 701 Central Avenue Northwest. We got limited edition T-shirts we giving away for free food and drink specials, plus all these Sports Animal personalities and local celebs. What's a local celebrity? But you got one behind the glass. That's who you're going to come up and say what's up to. It's Zay at Ex Novo Brewing, 701 Central Avenue Northwest, Saturday, August 23rd, 12 to 4 p.m. More details, check out sportsanimalabq.com. It is the opening drive right here on the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen.
DQ presents.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are one Eastern.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is...
ESPN had a story this week about the new look Pac-12, and there were some interesting nuggets in there regarding the Mountain West versus the Pac-12 and how each side feels about their stance when it comes to the exit fees and poaching penalties, that they could not get figured out in mediation, so they're going to court. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JG Bucks, A. Johnson with you. So in the ESPN story, there was a sentiment on both sides that they want the litigation behind them, of course. But these schools and conferences, the amount of money that's involved for the Mountain West to get that exit fee money, to get that poaching penalty money to put towards the moves that they're making in the future, to put towards keeping UNLV and Air Force in the Mountain West Conference, that's important to them. And, of course, for the PAC just to keep the money, they want to do that. These schools don't want to pay it out. And the PAC has used a lot of their money when it comes to the exit fees to get these state schools out of the Mountain West Conference to join the new look PAC State Conference. But Teresa Gold, commissioner of the Pac-12, said, quote, "I look forward to that day when they're able to get it done, but we've all got a lot of work to do, and I look forward to that getting resolved so we can move forward." But both sides are ready to roll the dice at trial. They both feel like that they have a way to win this case. Now, if you're the Mountain West Conference, you're like, here's the contract. You signed it. The PAC schools knew there were poaching fees in it because the Mountain West could see the writing on the wall. Well, I thought at the time that was a good thing to do. Have that scheduling agreement with Oregon State and Washington State, and maybe it is a merger. Well, the PAC schools, we saw what they wanted to do. They said, hey, we want to take this select group of schools, rebuild the PAC. Everyone else can kick rocks. And so the Mountain West did what they should have done, and that's protect themselves when it comes to that. And Oregon State and Washington State, they didn't sign the contract under duress. They were not locked in a room, guy standing outside the room with a baseball bat saying, you signed this contract. You knew what you were signing. All those schools knew what they were signing. You look at it this season, it's not ideal, but Washington State and Oregon State put together a football schedule, independent schedule, so don't force them to do anything. So yes, this is a Mountain West market. This is a school at the University of Mexico to continue to be in the Mountain West. But even if they were on the other side and say the Lobos were one of the teams that were going to the PAC State Conference, I'd still look at this and go, yeah, you got to pay everything, man. You signed the contract. It's right there. And you look at Oregon State and Washington State, when all those schools bounced from the PAC, you kept that money, and you fought to keep all those exit fees. So you can't have it both ways. But it was interesting, reading the story on what the PAC is looking for, and they said that, Texas State, well, it represents what they want to be moving forward. They're building something. They've got the momentum, the vision, and it really just comes to the investment specifically in football. And, Texas State last 2 years was finally able to pop. Not great before that, but you pop at the right time, plus you're showing an added investment. Well, that's how Texas State came on the radar. Maybe it was option 3, 4, 5, whatever it might have been for the Pac-12. They're in, and they're still window shopping. And what can that look like? Now, Teresa Gold, commissioner, declined to get into specific targets, but said the league remains open to adding schools if they match the conference long-term goals. But as that battle continues, who's going to come out with the money? It just shows you that all these schools are positioning themselves for the next big move. And it does feel like, listening to Fernando Lobo this week, comments that he made with us, but just comments too that he's talked about over the last few weeks. Jeff, he's been everywhere. He knows what's going on. Jeff Zimbietta in college football. Like, they're all pointing to really, 2030 as really a seismic shift in the landscape of college athletics. What is that exactly going to look like? Is just adding schools to power conferences, or is it that super league idea that's been floated out there? Not sure, but what you want to do, whether you get in there or not, is position yourself with the best product on the field. Invest in athletics. If you're going to do it the best you can. And that's the focus right now, and that's the battle we're seeing with all these schools. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. Scheduled to be joined by Sean Ryder, Albuquerque Journal. Chopping up with global football scrimmage today for UNM and much, much more. It's the opening drive here on the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient. They're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outside.
Back room, yeah, they have the resume. We've seen it. There's a lot of confidence in those guys. Talked with Luke Schleichner earlier this week, the offensive coordinator, and he was discussing their role in the offense. But Luke Schleichner knows that they have to make plays down the field. They have to be able to take the top off the defense. We'll have a conversation tomorrow with Colin Lockett, the wide receivers coach, did the same thing. They talked about the mentality of the wide receiver room, because when you look at this team, and the biggest question mark for me right now is wide receiver. I think Jack Lane can be a solid quarterback, knows this system. Seen him play at a good level last year. I know it's Idaho, but you go back to the Oregon game, Battle didn't look overwhelmed there. When Idaho was at Oregon, the numbers he put up in the FCS playoffs when he came back from injury. Now the question mark is, can he be healthy for a full season when he's battled multiple injuries, had the elbow injury over the summer? But the feeling is he's the guy at quarterback. Mm-hmm. When you look at the wide receiver room, I just don't know if they're going to have the dudes. Now, the one guy that they were really hoping would be a difference maker is Keegan Johnson. But for the second time over the last few months, he's down with an injury. He pulled up end of last week with a hamstring injury. I saw it the other day. Kadir Jope go down at the end of the practice. He's out. Isaiah Blair was not practicing on Wednesday. And these guys that you're looking at, all right, these potentially could be top 3 wide receivers on the depth chart. Not there. So it's an opportunity. Who's going to step up? Well, Michael Buckley, had a great conversation with him. He's a veteran wide receiver. He got an opportunity. He made some plays yesterday. He got Sean Miller.
Are you going to be able to watch this scrimmage? Is it like open for fans to watch? Is it one of those deals? Or?
It's a great question. Probably should send a text message on that.
Because I was going to say, if it is, or regardless of how the results come out, and I don't know how many Lobo players listen or listening at the moment, but the biggest thing I've noticed in all scrimmages is you want to make sure you don't overreact to lack of offensive production, because historically, always the defense has the advantage in the first scrimmage. So, like, if the offense is coming out and it's slow and say the ball's on the ground a lot and things are, especially in the run game, because as a D lineman, it's easy just to go, not easy to go fill your gap, but assignment-wise, it being a real scrimmage doesn't make things harder. But as an O lineman, you're having to react to a lot of things, pick up different blocks, and it can be difficult. So this first scrimmage, especially because I know Coach Eck wants to run the ball, which might be why wide receiver might seem like it's lacking a little bit. I know he wants to run the ball. If the run game does not get going, initially, is not mean that they're doomed by any means, or if the offense struggles doesn't mean they're doomed. The defense has the advantage.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, because they're not, and Coach Eck talked about it this week, like, they're running a scrimmage, they're going to be live, they're going to hit, but they're not going to be running Scott Humphrey 25 times in the scrimmage, right? Who's slated to be the RB1. And so it kind of goes to your point, it's what we've been discussing of what do you watch for, like what matters from these preseason football games or a scrimmage like today, and it's looking at the other areas. And it is looking at wide receivers, guys that have to step up due to injury, looking at, all right, do you have your starting 5 offensive line solidified? And you bring up a good point, because you're going to see things or hear things from the scrimmage, and what were they asked to do? Who was out there? It's not going to be the RB1 or QB1 the entire scrimmage out there running those plays, so it could look a little different at times.
And there are times where there could be a player, coaches, we talked about it earlier. These coaches that the UNM's got, they've been around for a while. So it's not like, they're rookies by any means. So sometimes a coach can tell what a player's got in the bag by what they've seen at practice. So in the scrimmage, they're like, okay, I want to see what this guy's got. I want to see what this guy's got. Because there are some people who, once they know the ball is alive, they activate differently. So a lot of times, the scrimmage could be for that. The coach might go into the whole scrimmage saying, I don't want to dominate the offense today. I want to see what our threes can do. Or I want to see, if this guy works at this position. Or I want to see if this safety can come down and play in the box sometimes. Or vice versa on offense. Let me see what this receiver looks like in a slot. Let me see if he can get loose. Let me see what he looks like on the outside when it's live action.
And so what is Coach Eck looking for in the scrimmage? He was asked about that, and he said, definitely want to get some more live tackle work in and see guys that we haven't seen live tackle, see how they do space tackling, things like that.
Oh, it's so much different when there's pads on. Even the way you approach a guy, when there's no pads on, you're taking sweet angles and someone could look like an all-star. But once they have to actually go hit and make a tackle, then everything's different. Then they're overthinking themselves. They don't want to get trucked. If a guy knows he's not going to get the shoulder lowered on him, he might have a whole different approach to open space tackling than if a guy's got nothing on, Yeah, you're
going to see what it's all about. And it's kind of goes back to, we listened to Brian Urlacher and his message, run to the football, be aggressive. Well, that's what you're going to have to show today.
100%.
In this scrimmage, what the coaches are looking for. And it is different, man, because you've done it, man. You've been in those practices, and I think Tuesday was at least a pad day for Lobo football, and it felt a little bit different, right? It looked a little bit different. And some of there were some collisions that you saw that weren't happening the other days.
Oh, yeah. And also, you really see players go through adversity, because let's say you could have a guy that's with no pads on, he's running into the football all the time. But then let's say it's like a guy D lineman. He comes down, you got a pulling guard, smacks him. He's a little dinged up. That next play, he might not be too happy about having to go run to the football again. He gets a little bit more tired, or he's feeling a little sore. He's got some, not injuries, but he's got some pains in his knee. Say his knee got, bumped knees with the offensive lineman or something. You're not going to want to run to that football the same way you wanted to before. So that's when that grit becomes a factor. That's when you see who the real dogs are. This guy just got smacked and he's back up like nothing ever happened, versus some other players you can see that pain on them, and that's when coaches can see a lot of this in scrimmages as well.
And we'll get that update for you tomorrow. Sean Ryder, Albuquerque Journal. He's going to join us at 9:30. He was set to drop in studio, but life happens, man. So we'll hit up Sean Ryder at 9:30 this morning and get his thoughts on what he's seen from Lobo football so far in camp and the expectations for the scrimmage this afternoon. There was some news that popped this morning when it comes to the mock draft king, and that is Arch Manning, University of Texas. Hasn't started a full season yet, but everyone looking at, could he be the number one quarterback next year if he comes out? Well, pump the brakes on that. You look at the track record of the family, the vibe of Arch Manning, who did sit back, wait the last 2 years behind Quentin Ewers, who's stepping in the starting role this season for the preseason number one favorite in college football, and a lot of that is due to the hype around Arch Manning. I really thought he was going to be there 2 years regardless. It just fits the vibe of the football family. I think it fits with how he's handled this situation where he'll go out there and play 2 years of football at the University of Texas. And his grandfather, the Archie Manning, said this morning, quote, he believes that his grandson will stay 2 years at the University of Texas and will not be in the NFL draft. And, that's significant coming from the family. But it's what do you expect? I think you look at the hype trains and these guys that are the next biggest thing, the next great thing. If anyone can handle it, it's Arch Manning. He grew up with that last name. Now he has to step up and live up to those expectations as the quarterback at the University of Texas. But to me, what was said by Grandpa Manning is not surprising at all.
Yeah, no, and he's obviously got the power, dare I say, like executive order. He's got the power to say that because he started the whole entire tree. Yeah, it doesn't shock me at all. I think that they are treating Arch, well, number one, I think internally, I know they've got a bunch of different stuff going on. I'm sure Peyton and Eli and Archie counsel him on how to handle a lot of this stuff. So I'm pretty sure no one knows the plan of his future better than Arch himself. But I could imagine that they want him to get as many reps in college as he can. The last people who care about hype and people wanting to see Arch in the NFL is Peyton and Eli, because they already did it. So to them, it's like, look, that's going to come, right? Don't worry about it. Whereas if you got somebody else who's never, maybe they still can't believe they're in this position. Say Cam Ward, even though he stayed all the years. I think it's because not that he had to, but, he helped himself out.
Cam Ward was a grinder, man.
Yeah, he grinded his way up there. But like
the incarnate Word to Washington State and then to Miami.
And then to Miami. Now, if you got guys who they may not, like the NFL might be the huge deal to them. So as soon as they get that chance, they're reaching for it. But for someone like Arch, he's got 3 people directly in his family still living that not only played in the NFL, but were successful. Was Archie that successful? I know you couldn't have been as good as Peyton and Eli, but
it was tough times for the Saints. But he did his best.
Okay, that's fair.
Back in the day in New Orleans. And remember the stat we were talking about the other day? He was the last rookie quarterback to play for the Saints.
Yeah, so he had something going.
He was running for his life. But hey, he set the tone for the Manning family. So Arch Manning, or at least according to Grandpa Manning, he's going to stick around for a while. We still have to see him play. And guess what? Welcome to QB1. Texas at Ohio State. Noon, Saturday, August 30th. Week 1 of the college football season. Absolutely stacked. And I love that day, not just because we get to be on the radio, Lobo football at Michigan, but we got true road games. And I was screaming about that. Like, true road games in college athletics matter. Texas at Ohio State. LSU at Clemson. Alabama at Florida State. Notre Dame at Miami. And Monday Night Football, which is college football, TCU at North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina didn't scratch the top 25 this year. I thought that was
Bill Belichick making his debut for the Tar Heels. TCU, they were actually the first game, too, for Deion Sanders in Colorado.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was crazy.
Yeah, so TCU was Deion's first game and will be Bill Belichick's.
Hashtag do you believe now? Belichick's not going to hit one of those, I don't think.
You believe now. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. We come back on the other side. When you're looking at the potential conference changes, what does Super League mean? And what kind of push is there to create that in college athletics? It's coming up next here on The Sports Animal.
The 31st Sports Animal Birthday Bash is at X-No.
Posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-123.
4 for 4. Well, Lobo football, they announced the other day, kids 12 and under get in free with an adult GA ticket for 5 Lobo games, the 5 home games minus Mexico State. Kids, come on in. This morning, we got a new $4 value menu. Hot dog, popcorn, sodas, and water, all $4.
No
Go.
way.
Yeah.
So we were, okay, smart.
Go.
We were right there. Smart. Bring in the kids, bring on the concessions.
Bring in the kids, get them popcorn, hot dog.
Genius.
Keep them hydrated. Let's go. It's the little things. Get in the door, and then football's got to keep you there longer.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want people going there for dinner.
Hey, as long as they're inside.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the football team to keep you there for the second half. UNM is doing what they can now. Say, hey, come on in. be inviting, show up, and then it's going to be up to the football team to keep you there after halftime.
Yeah, no one's leaving a 14-14 halftime game. Or if Lobos were up 14-0, they're not leaving that game.
Okay. It's the little things, but steps in the right direction for Lobo football. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Zay Johnson, Adrian holding it down on ProView Networks. And I know I turned on that Zoom camera if you're watching, and there's an empty chair across from me because Sean Ryder's cars didn't start this morning. So we're going to have him join us at 9:30. Via the telephone, so you can just stare at empty space there for a second until I turn off that webcam, which I'll do at next break. But when we look at what Lobo football is doing and thinking about the future, understanding that you're going to have to invest in the stadium. Yeah, they got the video board coming, but it's what can you do financially and what makes sense with what you have to work with at University Stadium. Because if you're going to do it the best you can. If you're going to play football, invest in football. And talking with Fernando Lobo the other day, I asked him that question and said, yes, basketball is what stirs the drink at the University of New Mexico. Basketball is what pushes this fan base forward. But in college athletics overall, it's football in the driver's seat. So how do you maintain that and understand that basketball is special here and non-conference play resonates? Basketball games from the start of the season to the end of the season matter at the pit.
Definitely.
But also understanding that you're going to have to focus on football. And can you do that without taking away from basketball? And the answer to that question is yes, because you have the fan base locked in for basketball. You have the investment there for now. But when it comes to football, it's the little things that you hope then equal the big things. And you just got to do it the best you can. And especially with the next 5 years, who can you be? Because I don't think you're going to be in the power conference, but if there is a shift, if FBS goes to a super league, do you find yourself at least in that regard? Or what's next? Because thinking that just not doing anything and you're like, well, you know what? Whatever. Basketball will be fine. No, it's not the case. Like, things could look dramatically different, and you still want your other sports to be in position to compete, be in the right leagues, and that comes down to what football is doing, at least showing a certain level of investment. Because there's going to be a push for it. I don't know if it's going to work, but when you have billions of dollars being put forth by private equity firms with a super league idea behind that, well, what the heck does that mean? Well, CBS Sports did a story this week discussing that because, the future of college athletics. Everyone wants to get into a power conference. Well, we just watched Memphis offer up $200 million to the Big 12, and they still said no. So not even that level of buy-in will get you there. And so, oh, man, well, if power conference is off the table, is it a restructuring of Division I as we know it? Is it just the Big Ten and SEC ultimately coming together saying, hey, we're taking our football and we're going to do our own thing? Well, it's that Super League model that is out there. And there's been 2 private equity firms. They backed the College Sports Tomorrow model and Project Rudy model. And they're exploring ways to consolidate the biggest brands in sports into a standalone Super League. And the Super League, with private equity behind it, is billions of dollars. So CBS Sports also reported that several ACC schools remain in contact with Smash Capital, a private equity firm that proposed a 70-team Super League back in 2023 with a $9 billion upfront investment. So the plan would eliminate matchups against Group of 5 and FCS teams, expand a playoff, and they said it would generate $15 billion of revenue in the first 12 years. So to earn 15, you put up 9. But that is why these conversations, you can't just scoff at them. Now, it's still going to be challenging because you look at media rights deals, the laws around that, what you can or cannot do. When you look at the fact that these are still state schools, right? And there's politics involved. There's going to be plenty of pushback. There's going to be plenty of speed bumps in the way where it's not just as simple as, hey, we got the money, we're going to take our ball and go play our game. But when it's billions upon billions of dollars, that's when you have to take notice. And that is when a Super League could become a real thing, when you have these private equity firms willing to front billions of dollars. And that's why you can't just scoff at it and say, okay, what does that mean? You hope it doesn't get to that point. You really hope that we're not staring at a 70-team Super League and college athletics as we know it is just blown up. Now, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, you root for whatever it is. But I still think that there's models that make sense for college athletics. I still think there's things like the NCAA tournament that, man, it's so fun. Even if it's just one game, that Cinderella that wins that first weekend, that 14, 15 seed that wins. You live for it. That 68-team bracket right now that fits perfectly on a sheet of paper. Like things you live for. And no changes are coming down the line. But Super League, that's the last thing I want to see. And yes, we're in a mid-major market. We cover team in the Mountain West Conference. Look down south, the team in Conference USA. Now they're just trying to compete. We know that there's inequities in Division I athletics. There is the haves and have-nots. You do understand that. But I'm just not on board with the Super League thing. Now, if it gets to that point and you have that split, I think the biggest question is, you could talk yourself into, okay, wrapping your head around a new football division. You're playing like-minded schools. FCS has done a really good job. They have their playoff. They're doing their thing. Now, would that be kind of FBS 2 that you'd be in, right? The kind of remaining group of 5 schools. You're all doing your thing. Yeah, you could talk yourself into be competing at a new level with football. But again, it goes back to, what does that mean for basketball? And just because you sell tickets for the pit, you have a fan base that's invested, SEC and Big Ten don't care about that. Mm-hmm. They're not just going to let you be in the Super League because you sell tickets to your basketball games. And so that is the whole back. Like, you can talk yourself into, maybe for football, that would be a good thing overall. Is, all right, whatever your Super League looks like for power schools, go do your thing. You have the group of 5 able to do their own thing, and you have teams competing, playing games, different championship structure. Like, you could kind of talk yourself into that. But the other stuff, that's what worries me about Super League talk. That's what worries me about the numbers that we're hearing to, quote unquote, get into a power conference.
What I think really, I feel like we know the first answer to this, but I feel like the priorities of the people in charge, I would just like to see just from 1 through 5. Like, what are you guys' priorities? What is most important here? I feel like obviously revenue is number 1. But that number 2 is what I think really, really matters. Because maybe maybe the Super League doesn't scare them as much as it scares us if their priorities are different. Like, I don't know how much they value entertainment anymore at this point. Like, it just seems like almost like 1 through 3 is revenue. And there is no number 2, number 3. It's just like the top 3 is revenue, and then there's a 4 and 5.
It's a good question. A lot of people have asked that question and wondering, what should the priorities be? Yeah, you got to have money to compete. Money to play sports, money to fund those things. But is that worth blowing up the entire model? Or is there ways that you can have the separation you want? You can maybe govern football a little bit differently than other sports, but we can kind of continue on this path in certain areas that make sense when we're talking about the NCAA tournament. Can you have maybe a separation in football that doesn't separate everything else?
Yeah, because priorities of the people at the top can always be a little different than you expect. I saw a quote from Roger Goodell yesterday when asked about competing with the NBA. I don't know if you saw this, and he was like, "We're not competing with the NBA. We're competing with Apple and Google." And it was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. So there is no, Christmas Day to compete with the NBA. They're like, no, we're going to play on Christmas.
Like,
so we can
own
get as
it.
big as possible. Yeah. Like,
whatever day it is, we're going to own it.
Yeah.
We're the NFL.
That was a great mic drop.
You saw that last year. Mm-hmm. No, I'm a big Christmas NBA guy. I liked it. But then the NFL drops the game, and everyone's like, basketball, what?
Yeah.
You're doing what now with basketball? Cool story. Where's my NFL game on Netflix?
Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate because there were some good games in the NBA last year. I think they either all were close or all were terrible. I think it was the NFL that had blowout games. And they still outdid the NBA.
Football is king. Football is football. The NFL and college football showing it each and every single day. We come back to another side. We'll catch up with Sean Ryder, get his thoughts ahead of the Lobo scrimmage this afternoon. What he's seen so far from camp. Sean Ryder, Albuquerque Journal, joins us next here on The Sports Animal.
Win tickets to see Laney Wilson.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like me, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all bored.
Because all right, there's some certainties that you don't have questions about. But what are some of the things that Coach Eck is looking for from this afternoon? What are some of the questions that you would like to see?
Yeah, one thing he's kind of mentioned, and I think this is true for a lot of coaches when they talk about these kind of, fall camp scrimmages and all that, is that, days like today can really be separators for a lot of guys in position battles. So clearly, kind of probably the biggest position battle and the one that we've given the most attention to is definitely, who's going to start at quarterback. Right now, it pretty much looks like a real two-horse race between James Lobstein and Jack Lane. I think, I've talked to people, not with the program and all that at practice and all that, and I think I've heard, just about everybody say, well, I think, Jack Lane's already had, and, well, I think James Lobstein is a guy that, that's kind of, playing right there with him. And Eck thinks, he said this week that he thinks it's a pretty close competition. The numbers that they get, the kind of adjusted completion percentage they're looking at in practice and all that have been pretty close. So today will be interesting in that regard. I'm interested as well. I think the one thing that's kind of unfortunate for them is they're going into this first scrimmage. They got 3 receivers down, Keegan Johnson, Cater Joke, and then Isaiah Blair. Keegan Johnson was probably going to be, the wide receiver 1. All those guys will probably be back by the first game, I would imagine, unless something really, kind of changes that we're not aware of. But I think that's one of the one unfortunate thing is that they don't really have kind of the full complement of receiving options that they probably would have if everybody was healthy, and that they definitely would have if everybody was healthy, I should say. And I think that puts a little bit of a damper on it, but I'm also curious to see a little bit more of the kind of the shuffling of the offensive line. I think there's some good competition going on in the interior offensive line right now. I think a couple guys were kind of ahead. Israel Mukwiza, I should say. At left guard, I think, Jason Eck was the guy who said he was kind of a little bit ahead during the spring, and now he's a little bit open to competition, so we'll see how that plays out.
Now, I'm going to go back to quarterback position because I do think that there's something there now. The amount that Coach Eck has talked about it and said it is, a 2-player competition. And also, with Lobstein, could he actually have something? Last year it was Devin Dampier just doing absolutely everything, whether it was practice, spring game, you name it. Like, he was the dude taking snaps. And in what we got to see with this team, we never saw him. So what is it about Lobstein that has him right there? And is it just something that, he was overlooked just because we just never heard about him before really him getting this chance this year?
Yeah, no, I think it's, in the context of last year, I think it's completely fair to categorize him as an afterthought in the sense that you're 100% right. Devin did literally everything. I mean, he played 1 million snaps in the spring game, during fall camp, and then obviously during the season. I mean, to the point where, it's kind of nice. You didn't have to, kind of cover that competition, but it was almost kind of boring to a certain degree, and you really didn't get to see Lobstein, get a lot of extended run, really learn about him as a player. But I think the thing that I noticed the most with Lobstein, during fall camp so far is that, I don't know if there is, kind of unreal game-changing, like, arm talent or anything like that. But, like, he will step up and he will kind of pop off with a couple throws that you kind of go, okay, like, that was pretty good. Like, he had one yesterday where he was rolling out to the right and more or less just kind of, chucked it all, kind of left to, Mike Buckley, who was running like a 20-yard dig. And that was kind of a big completion yesterday during a team period and all that. There is, I think there's some more arm talent there than people probably give him credit for. I will say, the spring game did not exactly wow anybody. And part of that was due to the weather. It was pretty windy and kind of a mucky night and all that. But, yeah, and it seems like his processing is there. It seems like he's pretty comfortable in the offense. And, it seems like he's just kind of competing every single day. So I really, I think some people kind of wanted to write it off early that it was just always going to be Jack Lane. I think it very well still could be Lane, but I do think there is something to it being a legitimate competition.
Sean Ryder, Albuquerque Journal, joining us. One of the things that stood out, and it's not just necessarily defense that's ahead of the offense early, which coaches talked about. I know it's something that even Brian Urlacher mentioned this week of his camp observations. But it's been a while that there's been any playmakers really in the front seven for Lobo football. And we've been going through defensive guys, even Danny Gonzalez, Bronco Mendenhall last year, and you're just kind of waiting. You're like, is someone going to step up? But it does feel like, linebackers, they return, and then adding someone like Jackson X, who's just a solid middle linebacker. From what I've seen, I think there might actually be a little bit more pop from the front seven. But your observation so far, what do you think?
Yeah, you're 100% right, and I agree with you completely. I think there is plenty more pop in the front seven. Now, to be fair, we've kind of done this like the last 2 years. I remember before 2023, talking to people there, and they felt that it was the best D-line that they had there, and it ended up being probably the most mediocre D-line they had there. Last year, you felt a couple guys were probably going to be, doing some interesting things throughout the season, and just didn't always work out that way, and part of that was injuries. But this year, it is, I mean, honestly, I do think that there's more to it than there's been in previous years, and part of that is, kind of moving Gabe Lopez and Okiki Olorunfunmi inside. I think Okiki has, honestly been really eye-catching during practice in the sense he's just moving guys off the ball. And it's, you knew that Jackson X2 was a good quality FCS linebacker, all big guy. You knew he could play at this level coming in. But he's looked, he has looked very good the last couple of days. He has come up with a sack every single day, at least one. He's been, pretty tricky and just kind of flying to the ball and all that. So that certainly impressed me a ton in the sense that you knew he was going to be reliable at worst, and the fact that he's given them a little bit something more, I think, is pretty important there.
Well, it's going to be an afternoon scrimmage for the Lobos today, and you see it. All the coaches posting about going back to school, and it's a little thing there. Might not seem like a big deal. But, hey, move it to the afternoon. They've been practicing in the morning. Get to take your kids to school on the first day. So, the coach is posting about that. They can lock in this afternoon. And, of course, Sean, you're going to have the breakdown of everything. And we'll read you and pass along your notes tomorrow morning, man. I appreciate you being flexible and hanging out with us for a few minutes.
Thanks, JJ. Appreciate you.
Yeah, that's Sean Ryder. Albuquerque Journal Lobo scrimmage this afternoon. I think the biggest thing in there is a legit quarterback competition. Yeah. And you just assumed, and I did too, all right, Jack Lane, he's been with the staff. He knows the system. We've seen him flash at times. He's going to be the guy. And maybe not. Now, is that a good thing or cause for concern for Lobo football? We'll hit that. On the other side, it is the opening drive here on The Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason with Sports Minute.
With the same opportunities.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of Pro V Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are one Eastern.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one.
Nowhere, not expecting anything, and in a legit quarterback battle with Jack Lane for Lobo football. Now, it's good if you have two guys. I don't necessarily think this is a situation of, well, there's two, you don't have one. No, there's question marks with Jack Lane due to his health. And if you can have a legit guy that's showing, you know what, he's going to be good enough to be the starter right now, I'll take it. I'll tip my hat to him sticking around and still battling for his opportunity. And it was a little, I thought it was mainly coach speak. I really did. And watching practice, Jack Lane, you know, he looks good. He's efficient, 6'2", decent movement, throw the football. But then you lob scenes in there and you're like, okay, you know, it's similar style of play. You don't have to change the offense for either guy. They're very similar quarterbacks, just looking for execution, right decision-making. It's an offense that's going to really lean into running the football if things are going well, which then should open things up over the top.
Yeah, I tell you what, just like we were saying earlier with when we were talking about like what a quarterback can do to kind of, you know, hop up on the depth chart when it becomes live situations or game-like situations. And I was saying that, you know, one thing that can really help is showing something that you can do that maybe the other quarterbacks can't. Now, I'm pretty sure Sean said it was Jack Lane when he was explaining, and I kind of was able to visualize what he was saying. The guy rolled right. That means he had to flip his hips, unless he's, I think, is he probably right-handed? I think he's probably a right-handed thrower. So, I mean, he's rolling right, and then to throw across your body and hit a 20-yard dig route, that's impressive. And that is something that if you are a running team, the reason that's so important is because you guys will most likely have play action rollouts. You want your quarterback to be able to roll out and, you know, hit guys over the middle. So that's something that's very, very pleasant to hear that he's got in his bag.
And I am intrigued. The more you watch camp and you see Lobstein working in there, and there's been a little bit of the pitch count with Jack Lane, but it's about opportunity. It's what we've discussed all week long, is when that door opens, are you able to step through it? And in this sense, I think it can be good for the Lobos this year to have two guys that are battling, that are close, that you can trust. And again, listening to Sean Ryder talk about it, the way Coach Eck has talked about it, yeah, you realize, oh, this is closer than you realize. But I also think that's by design, because sometimes, you get kind of a label, but it's a label because things keep happening. With Jack Lane, it's injuries, right? It's missing time. It's the elbow, which he talked about. It was torn over the summer. It wasn't a full tear. Didn't need Tommy John surgery, but that's why he wasn't throwing in the spring. That's why his quote unquote pitch count at times in practice, and so that kind of opens the door for Lobstein, and it's caught the attention of the coaching staff. And here we go, a scrimmage this afternoon for both those guys to make some plays, to establish themselves. Interior of the offensive line, some battles that Sean talked about. I know offensive coordinator Luke Schleichner mentioned that in our conversation earlier this week. He still wants to see some depth develop there, but they are confident overall that the offensive line will be solid. Now it's the battle of, all right, you want to run the football. Teams are going to start gearing towards that, and it's chess match, man. We watch football games. We know that it's easy to talk about balance. It's easy to talk about being multiple. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. It's easy to say. It is hard to do. So I'm really interested to see what kind of playmakers can emerge, because as good as that running back room is, you put 10 dudes in the box, you don't have Derrick Henry back there.
Yeah, no.
Right?
And I don't know if you can hit, or you can say maybe like an Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
The thing about it's easy to say, and like you were saying, it's easy to say, oh, run the ball, and then also be able to pass, or run the ball and be able to play defense. That's like as simple as telling an NBA player, be great at offense and defense. Telling a baseball player, be a great outfielder and be great on base. It's not always that easy, and only the special ones can do it. And that's why whenever teams figure out how to do that, no matter what the level, they're the dominant team. Eagles, the Chiefs, that's why they were able to squeak out all those wins, because they were running the ball well, playing good defense, and you still had Mahomes at times. But, if UNM can figure that out, that would be, it's always the sweetest formula, especially when running is your first option. If running is your strength and passing is a second, I think you have more consistency. You know what you're going to get out of a team. You have less turnovers. You dominate time of possession. Yeah. There's just a bunch of benefits.
I think that's going to be a big one, is time of possession, but being able to move the football.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to move the football to have time of possession. Now, you can't be going 3 and out. Because I do think that controlling games, trying to slow it down, is where Lobo football is going to live this year offensively. And it's, what can you do? How do you come out of those first 4 games? Right? It's those 2 road games, Michigan, UCLA, just strap it up, go out there, play football, right? Just, okay. But it's the Idaho State game. Like, you got to hit the ground running, man. People do not want to see a sluggish squad against Idaho State.
No.
Because that's a game that you need to go out there. The dudes that we've talked about all offseason, they got to produce. You got to see flashes from that front seven. Like, it's the second game of the year, FCS team Idaho State, like, let's go. Because then you're on the road at UCLA, short week, Friday night game, get back straight into a rivalry game. So that Idaho State game, you got to flash. You got to have your dudes you're talking about produce, get through Michigan and UCLA as best you can, and then all eyes on that rivalry game.
Yeah, there's a psychology behind, going against 2 tough teams like that beginning of the season. And yeah, it may not feel good when it's happening, but as soon as you get past those teams, you then can judge how close or, what the games looked like. And then you're going into the rest of your schedule saying, we're not going to face much more like that. Now, the worst case scenario is you lose to those top 2 teams, and you've got yourself convinced that it was just because that, you guys were in different leagues. And then you go and lose in Idaho State, because now you're asking yourself, okay, how good are we? Like, are we your team that can win? Like, how bad can this get? But if you go lose to Michigan, UCLA, and then you go beat Idaho State, every game's like, we could win.
Well, the only bad things happen in Idaho State game. Like, the Lobos won that game 60-10. You're like, whatever, it's Idaho State. But if they only win it 30-25, if they somehow lose that game,
are they that bad, Idaho State?
Well, Here's the thing. We saw the Lobos lose to an FCS team last year. Idaho State's not Montana State. No, Montana State was like one of the best teams in FCS.
Okay, so I didn't know if you were saying Idaho State was better or worse than Montana State.
So it happened. But this Idaho State team's not at that Montana State level.
Yeah, Montana State beat them by 20. Lobos you can't take that. You can't. So, and it's the first home game, isn't it?
Yeah, we understand. We've been there, done that. You don't want to overlook FCS teams. Understand that.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those games that's like only bad things can happen.
But hey, that Michigan UCLA game, those two games, go out there, be with say it's 14-14 at halftime.
Oh my goodness. If it's 14-14 at halftime,
even if you lose 35-14, hey, you're going into the next week like
goodness.
We got something.
If that was, oh my goodness, dude. If that's the case, sign me up right now. Sign me up right now for that script.
Be great.
I'm not sure about that.
It would catapult them. It would catapult them. But it's almost nice, right? Like, you got this scrimmage. You don't want to view Michigan as a scrimmage. You want to go and try to win these games. But
play to win the game.
Coaches are
Division I football.
Mm-hmm. The coaches are definitely evaluating still. You know, they're like, okay, you want to go and try to win, but they're like, all right, let's see what this looks like.
Yeah. Evaluation. We got 3 preseason games tonight, and we'll tell you tomorrow morning what mattered from each of those games. Thanks, Sean Ryder from the Albuquerque Journal, for joining us. Coach Nowinski, Lobo football defensive coordinator. Great conversation we had with him. If you missed any of the show, you can catch it wherever you get your podcast. Search up The Opening Drive. Adrian, appreciate you, man. Great work this morning on ProView Network. Zay, thank you again.
Yes, sir.
Putting in work this week, getting up, hanging out with us at the Colin Cowherd Show coming up next. Jim Rome at 1, 2 men on at 4. Topes Baseball continues their series tonight with Josh Shushan. After that, everybody, Metal World, peace and love. Talk to you tomorrow.
Cover it with green stuff. One scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough. Backed by the Duke.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are one Eastern.